My role at DICE, I'm what we call the creative director, which is I'm not in charge of design for one single project. I'm supervising a number of projects and try to be guiding, coaching those design leads at the same time as I'm kind of a quality filter that we continuously ship high quality products. Back in '99 I joined as an artist. And the company was at that time called Refraction Games here in Stockholm, this studio, and was later, during 2000, bought up by Digital Illusions. So I started up as artist and have gone from artist to design area. So the original idea for Battlefield 1942 has its origins back in '96 when two students at KTH University here in Stockholm were making their exam, and they wanted to make a 3D engine in the end, a game that in multiplayer united planes, helicopters, vehicles in one game, and soldiers. Before you had flight sims, soldier sims and all that, but not in one game. Later on, when they started making their new game, this first embryo of how to make Battlefield 1942 was created. So while making this new game called Codename Eagle, they made a demo which later became Battlefield 1942. They put this Second World War gear into this engine, started showing it at E3, and people saw that, there's something good coming here. What was revolutionary about Battlefield 1942, in my eyes, was that we united these different pieces of first-person shooter with airplanes, with vehicles. So it was not one game, it was multiple games merged into one. And it came not with a simulation feel, it was more of a run and gun, have fun feeling. So it was very free, very accessible, which was new to this genre in many ways. So I would say we created a new genre and we made it very accessible. I think those were the strongest parts. It all started back in 2002 when we released Battlefield 1942. It was new, it was inventive, and we were extremely proud of it. Then, during 2003, we released two expansion packs, Road to Rome and Secret Weapons of World War II, which added a lot to this universe. Then, the following year, 2004, we released Battlefield Vietnam, which took this with a slightly polished engine into the Battlefield or the Vietnam era, and played with everything you know, the music, the feel, everything you know from the movies. Then, in the meanwhile, we've been working on a new engine, which was released with Battlefield 2, summer of 2005. Once Battlefield 2 was released, we started looking at the console market, and autumn of 2005 we had our first introduction to consoles on PS2 and Xbox when Battlefield 2 Modern Combat was released. And very quickly afterwards we followed up Battlefield 2 for PC with an expansion pack called Special Forces, introducing lots of new gameplay. Then 2006 been a very exciting year as well, where we released Booster Pack Euroforce early this year, followed up by Battlefield 2 Modern Combat to the 360, and now we're all waiting for Armored Fury, another booster pack for Battlefield 2, coming fairly soon, and this autumn what we're all waiting for, Battlefield 2142. And if there's one out of these games that means particularly much to me, I would say that it's Battlefield 1942, since it's, when it comes to the game, it's our firstborn in the Battlefield franchise. It was a hard struggle to get it out, but we're all very proud of it, as we are of all the games. But it's something special with your firstborn. A couple of keywords that defines the game. I would say freedom is definitely one of them. Rock, paper, scissors is what we always bring up. There's always a countermeasure. There's not a super weapon. There's always a countermeasure against it. Sandbox is also something we bring up, where we toss in all the fun stuff, and it's up to you to have fun with it. and how the community have been able to see this through the years. I think we've stayed true to the focus we had already back in 1942, that it's not a hardcore simulator. It's fun, it's easy to get into it. If you're not very good at flying planes, there's always a cannon for you to use, or a jeep, so there's something for everyone. The Battlefield franchise has always been known for its strong community, and it's something we're very proud of. Battlefield 1942 basically got carried by it, and we want to continue this. For Battlefield 2, we've been continuing supporting the community, but we feel that we can get even stronger. So right now we are ramping up, hiring people in all different areas, community managers, live team, everything to be able to support the community much more. We feel that they are a part of making this game successful, and therefore we really want to invest in it. I would say that no one of us here as developers would ever have dreamed of that the Battlefield franchise could become this big. We started small, we had a dream, and it just blew up in our face. It's sold over 9 million copies by now, and it's just amazing. There's a million fan creations out there that we love, and we always get amazed already from Battlefield 1942, where Parallel Worlds did everything that all these amazing things that even we didn't think was possible. They turned and twisted our engine into spider tanks, into hovering B-17 bombers. It was amazing to see, and it continued up to this date. So the last biggest laugh I had in a long time was actually one of the fan movies called Mine 2, which, I mean, still have the whole office giggling. So a million things, we love it and we really appreciate it, and we really want this to continue, since it's the heart and soul of Battlefield, I would say. When it comes to planned additions to the support we have today, when it comes to modding, filming, all these community-related actions that the community have today, we have a number of things planned. I mean, we have lots of people working with it on a daily basis. We have a live team dedicated into creating these additions. I can't tell you what it is exactly, but we want to continue to support the game and the community, since the game lives with the community, not separate from it. One of the challenges within the Battlefield franchise was to give each team a unique feel and setup of weapons and vehicles. I think the magic, the reason for managing to pull this through in the end, is partially good work by designers in the actual tweak and balancing of these levels, but it's also lots of dedication into testing, feedback from, we bring in clans, we bring in all different people, beta testing, to actually pound this until we have something that is really solid. The Battlefield franchise started up with 1942, which was lots of lone wolves running around, fighting, not really cooperating with each other. You did it in a LAN when you're playing with your friends, but not on the internet. When we started up making Battlefield 2, this was one of our core focuses, which created squads and commander, where squads was to organize people in groups to have united goals, and the commander to tell the groups to go in the proper directions. Still, on a daily basis, we learn so much more on how the game is played, how competitive Battlefield is played, so there's a long, long list of improvements that could possibly go into the future. Where it will end up, what I will do with it, is for me to know, for you to find out, but hopefully we can find some of these additions into Battlefield 2142. ending up on the top 100 list of game developers and designers is of course extremely flattering. It's nothing you expect, and you get extremely happily surprised, both me and the company. When it comes to what makes a good designer, in my opinion, you need to love your work to start with. You need to be dedicated, you see possibilities in everything. And in the end, at least the way I do it, I don't like to put myself on a high horse and say this is the game we're making. You're more carrying the flag, gathering experience and input from the team, and together you make the final product, which then becomes much more solid, in my opinion. This time we need to make it all from scratch. And it's a challenge, not only for us, but we need to create something that we think the audience wants to have too. In order to please the audience, find new audience as well as pleasing the current fan base, we've tried to base this design on all the experience we gathered from the products within the franchise up to this date. So we have a lot to go over. There's loads of feedback from both players and reviewers, and hopefully we managed to take the right pieces, put it together in a very compelling concept. It's quite some time now since we started the Battlefield franchise, and when 1942 came, it was quite revolutionary for the first-person shooter genre. Ever since then, for every iteration, we tried to improve, we tried to push the boundaries of what can be done. And I see the competitive landscape of this genre, since there's hundreds of titles coming out, constantly pushing it forward and making the experience for the player better. With new consoles coming up, new hardware for PC, new possibilities, there's basically no end to it. And since it's so accessible, you're in the middle of it with first-person shooters, I think we have a beautiful future up ahead.